Look at that. Some nice oyster mushrooms. I think I'll grab those. Look at that. Pretty little fruiting of oyster mushrooms here. And they're nice and fresh too. They smell good.
Gas up the Jeep, it's good to be free. Load up the pans and fishing poles. The highway is long, the wheels turning round. Pack up the cook stove and the bowls. Arlo and I, we hit the open road. Arlo and I are on the road.
Hey everybody, Arlo and I are out and about again today, and I had a great idea for breakfast tomorrow. We got super lucky earlier and we found those oyster mushrooms, and I know another place in here where I can find some more because I saw some growing the other day, or at least just starting, and I'm thinking that they're going to be mature enough to find. So we're just going to head over here and collect some of those oyster mushrooms, and then I'll have them ready for breakfast tomorrow. I'm in an area of down trees here, dead logs and trees and all that. You can see here's some standing, here's some on the ground here. There's Arlo. All right, now this is absolutely the perfect place to find oyster mushrooms, because oyster mushrooms love to grow on dead wood. So with all these logs and dead trees, even the standing dead trees, we'll find hopefully find a good amount of oyster mushrooms. Let's see some here. Look at that. Right here. And then there's some on this side over there. Look how pretty those are. Let's see. There we go. Look at that. Look how pretty those are. All right. Look at that. They're there. Don't look like there's any bugs either, so that's always a plus in my book. All right, so it's the next morning. Yesterday afternoon, you saw that we were out and about, and we found some really nice oyster mushrooms, which I've already washed really well, and then I've trimmed them up and cut some of the larger ones in half, so I have some more consistent sized pieces here. Now it's really important to wash your mushrooms really well. Especially these oyster mushrooms, they can have a lot of bugs, and they hide all in those little gills there. And when I was harvesting them, there were little black bugs in there. So I got most of them out when I was out in the woods, but they tend to have little wormy, little buggy kind of things. I know it sounds gross, but it's a natural thing, and bugs do get in there. So it's not a deal breaker, of course. You just need to wash them really well. So for breakfast today, I thought I would make oyster mushroom shit on a shingle. Now normally shit on a shingle is made with chipped beef, but I'm just going to do the exact recipe the same way, except I'm just going to substitute these oyster mushrooms. So it will be sort of a vegetarian version of the shit on a shingle. But I know it's going to be really good. So it's really just a two-step process. We're going to first take our mushrooms and we're going to saute them in butter, and then we're going to make our bechamel, our white sauce, and then we're going to combine them and then put that on toast. So this is what I have to work with today. Okay, so of course we have those beautiful oyster mushrooms for our bechamel. We have butter, some flour, of course some seasonings. I have salt, pepper, bay leaf, and a couple of chiltepines, and of course a little bit of nutmeg. And then for garnish we have some chopped parsley and of course the toast. As always, a real simple recipe. So the first thing we're going to do is get these mushrooms sauteed. Okay, we're over here at the stove, and to this pan I've added a couple tablespoons of butter, and to that I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil, which that's the end. So I added the olive oil so that it helps to prevent the butter from burning. I'm just going to get this pan hot, and then we're going to add our mushrooms. Right, so last minute I decided to add some shallots to this recipe. So here I have like a half of a chopped shallot. So I'm going to add to our butter. Get that started just for like 30 seconds, and then we're going to add our mushrooms. Okay. And then I'm going to add a little bit of salt and pepper to this. Now it's really important to always cook your wild mushrooms, and because wild mushrooms can make you sick if you don't cook them, and they need to be cooked thoroughly. So we're going to make sure that we cook these mushrooms really well. So what's going to happen, these mushrooms are going to cook down a little bit, and they're going to release their water, and so there's going to be a lot of moisture in the pan. And then we're going to continue sauteing these mushrooms until all of that water has evaporated. Now you can see pretty much all of the moisture has evaporated out of the pan. And now at this point we're going to start browning our mushrooms and getting a little bit of color on there. Now we don't want a lot of color. I just want to kind of toast them just a little bit in the butter. I don't want to have a lot of color because we are going to put this into a cream sauce, and we don't want our cream sauce to turn brown. And so throughout this process we're going to make sure that we're not going to get too much color. Okay. But a little bit of that brown butter kind of flavor is really going to make this taste even better. I think those look perfect right there, so I'm going to turn off the heat and then push these mushrooms to the side here, and then we'll get started on our bechamel. Alright, to a pan, we're just going to melt a couple tablespoons of butter. Alright, now that our butter is melted, we're going to add our flour. This is just a couple of tablespoons of flour, and we want to stir this around. Once again, being careful not to brown our roux, because we want a nice light blonde roux for our white sauce. I'm just going to turn the heat down a little bit. We just need to cook this for, I don't know, maybe a minute, just to cook out that raw flour flavor. Doesn't take that long. You can see how the flour is fully incorporated into that butter. You want a nice hot pan, but you don't want it too hot. Okay, now we're going to add our milk. This is a cup of milk. Just like that. I'm going to switch over to a whisk. Get all of that roux mixed in, and then now I'm going to add our bay leaf, a little bit of salt and pepper, and then I have a couple of chiltepines. Of course, this is optional, but I like my things a little bit spicier, so I'm going to add the chiltepines, and then of course all bechamel should always have a little bit of nutmeg, so a little shake of nutmeg in there.
that's it. We're just going to bring this up to a simmer, and as it starts to simmer, this is going to thicken up. Now it's important to keep stirring this around because you don't want to scorch at the bottom. Look at that, and it's already starting to thicken. It really needs to come to a boil before it thickens up. Okay, that's looking really nice there. It only took a couple minutes, and I'm going to bring back the spoon to show you the consistency of this. You really just want to coat the back of the spoon, and this is perfect, and it tastes great. Okay, it's time to put in our beautiful sauteed mushrooms, so we'll slide all those in there. I basically have the burner on off right now, so I'm just going to let these gently warm up. I'm going to remove this bay leaf, and then while this is sitting here, I'm going to get our toast ready. Okay, that looks perfect. We have our toast ready. We're going to put this on here and make our plate. So we have our toast here, and then I'm going to put some of this beautiful mushrooms on here. Look at that. Oh wow, look at that. And then I'm going to top that with a little fresh parsley, and then of course a little parsley garnish there.
Alright, there it is. Oyster mushroom shit on a shingle, or creamed oyster mushrooms on toast. It smells really good. Well, of course, it's time to get into this and see how it tastes. Okay. Wow, the oyster mushrooms have a beautiful texture, a nice chewiness in all the best ways. Try one, just a mushroom by itself. Wow, that's really amazing. Of course, we knew it would be, didn't we? The slight spiciness from the chiltepines, the creaminess of the bechamel, and the slight chew of the oyster mushrooms. Oh man, it's just a perfect combination. I really enjoy this. It's got to be healthy, right? It's vegetarian. Let's see if I can cut a piece with my fork here. Now the thing is still, even though it's vegetarian, just mushrooms, it still gives you that satisfying feeling, that nice, rich, filling feeling that you get when you eat cream chip beef on toast, or biscuits and gravy, or other things like that. I would definitely make this again. This is really good. And the thing is, it's oyster mushroom season. Now that the rains have started here again, that means that I'm probably going to see more and more oyster mushrooms out there. So this is a great way to have oyster mushrooms for breakfast. And that's really good. Wow, that's really good. And I have to say, I really enjoy this. But, you know, I have to admit that shit on a shingle is something that I really like anyway. I actually did a recipe of sardine shit on a shingle last year. If you scroll back a few videos, you'll find that. Sardine S.O.S. I might even put that video on the end of this video, so you can go right to it. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please like, please subscribe. That always helps us a lot, and we will see you in the next one. Oh, and check out my mushroom foraging playlist on the channel. There's a whole bunch of great mushroom recipes. All right, we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.